Hey guys, this is Mike. I just wanted to put together a little video this morning for you guys to show you how to publish your own articles to VikeFans. That way I don't have to be involved as much and you guys can get your content out easier and quicker. So let's go ahead and jump in on that right away. First, we're going to go ahead and log into the site. Well, my stuff is cached, so I don't have to type it, but let's go ahead and log in. And some of the stuff is going to look different on my screen than it will on yours because I'm an admin and I have a lot more options available to me, but all the posting of the article stuff should be the same. So first thing that you're going to do is you're going to go up here and click on the dashboard selection. I think you should have that. If not, there'll be a menu in here that you can click and it'll bring you to this interface here. So once you've gotten there, you're going to go ahead and click on Posts, then on the Add New option, and that's going to bring you to the interface for adding a new posting. Some of this is going to be pretty self-explanatory. You'll add your title, of course. And then down here in the editor box, there's some default information that gets posted to all of our articles. You know, just giving a heads up on how to follow VikeFans.com and all that. So right in here is where you're going to input your article text, and I should mention that you're going to want to make sure you're on the visual tab. Unless you're doing straight HTML, then you'll use the text tab here. But just a couple things on the editor that I want to go over. I'll just write some silly paragraphs. WordPress has an interesting way of working with paragraphs in that it doesn't always turn out the way that it looks on the screen when it's published. So a good way to check that is come up here to this Show Blocks icon and click that. And when you do that, you're going to see where the paragraphs are. And for a paragraph, if I wanted double spacing between these two items, what I would do is I would come in here, click in this block, and hit an enter. And now you can see there's double spacing between the two. And you're going to really want to check that if you copy and paste from something like Microsoft Word or Apple Pages or something like that, because the formatting doesn't always carry over. So I would probably also put an extra double space in here before the default text below, just to kind of separate it. There's a lot of options in the editor. Bulleted lists. You can do tables where you can insert text in different spaces on the page. Just all kinds of different things in there. Most of it is stuff that's available in other editors, but because this is a web interface, it's all kind of condensed into one small little package there. So it takes a little bit of exploring to figure out what's at your disposal. Anyways, when you're ready to take a look and see how your article looks, I strongly suggest that you hit the preview button. It will open up in a new tab, and you can see how your article looks. Mine looks pretty silly, being that it's just some silly text on the page. So that's how you can look to see what it looks like before you publish. We'll go ahead and close that, go back to the editor. There's a few things that you need to do before you're ready to publish, though, and it's going to be different for different authors. First things you're going to do is you're going to come over to this categories box, and you are going to check off content, articles if it's an article, if you have a running article such as quick hits with Viking Bob, the lockdown, the USB drive of the game, things like that, Xanary's observations, you'll check that in this menu. From there, also you want to check featured posts if you have a show slide. If you don't have a show slide or don't know what that is, contact me and I'll let you know. If you don't know, don't check this, because what that does is it puts it at the top of our page in the slider. And in order for the slider to work correctly, you have to have an image in there, and an image has to be a certain dimension. So contact me if you're wondering if you have an image, and we'll talk more about this in just a few minutes. Then down further in this interface box, you're going to go ahead and check personalities and find your personality in this list. Now, if you're somebody that posts under your forum display name, like FSU Vike or OBM or Xanary, you're going to be listed under this XX guests. So that's where you would find your name there. If you were doing a podcast, instead of checking articles, you would check podcasts and then your podcast category. Okay, set featured image. That's the next thing that we have to go over. That is what I was talking about with the slider image. If you can still set a featured image even if you are not checking that feature up in the categories, it's just that'll be embedded in your page. So you go ahead and set the featured image. You can filter by category. And within there, if you're looking for your slider for your piece, it's going to be listed under something like podcasts or content images. Like for Jeff Nichols, he has one, and then what you're going to want to do is click on it and check the name. No, that's not it. And if you look here, it says _slide. So that's the one that you would use for your featured image. There's a little set featured image button down below that you didn't get to see to actually insert it, but pretty self-explanatory when you're going through it. If you're posting for somebody else, you would have to set the author. Most time it's going to default to whoever you're logged in as anyway, so you probably don't have to worry about it. It's only me usually when I have to post something for somebody else. And then let's see. If you don't want to hide your featured image, go ahead and click No to hide featured image. That'll make sure that the image is embedded on your page. And of course, if you want to see what these different things do, you can always use that preview option and check to see what was the outcome of the options that you set. We're going to always leave the layout to default layout, and you don't have to worry about the HTTPS option. One last thing to make sure that we're interacting with search engines is filling out this SEO pack. And there's two fields that you need to worry about, title and description. And you can see that there's some guidelines about how many characters you want to use. What I usually do is I put in the title that I used above if I can. So I'll just go ahead and type that back in again. And then in the description, of course, just enter in a description. Maybe you could use some verbiage from your first opening paragraph. You probably want to try and include some keywords in your description, making sure that you're mentioning the Vikings, Minnesota, maybe a player's name, things like that. I'm just going to put in some text here. Try not to sound like such a dork. And then, like I said, we'll scroll up and we'll go ahead and preview that again. I obviously am not actually Jeff Nichols, but you can see where that is being posted. Okay, so we'll go ahead and close that. I'm going to publish this, then I'm going to go ahead and, well, actually I'm not going to publish this right away, but this is what you would do to actually move your post into a published status. You go ahead and hit publish. It would appear on the front page. You can see where the sliders are going across. Actually going to go ahead and refresh so it sees my login information. And if I click on one of these sliders, actually, let me show you one other thing. If it wasn't set as a featured article, it would show up down here in recent content. It just wouldn't be in this area up here. So you could find your article down here, go ahead and click on it to enter in. And then if you scroll all the way down to the end of the article, Tom wrote a really long one here. There's some options for you to go ahead and share the article. I like to kick it out to Facebook. If you're not on Facebook, let me know and I'll help you share your stuff. If you are on Facebook, I highly encourage joining as many Vikings groups as you can so that you can share your article to as many Facebook groups out there. If you're on Twitter, go ahead and tweet it out. When your article posts, one of us that has the Vike Fans Twitter account will try to make sure to tweet it out so that our followers can get a look at it. We could go into a whole host of how to interact with social media, but we'll stay away from that for right now because it would be too much to go over. So if you have any questions on this, feel free to private message me on the forums. If you have my phone number, go ahead and give me a call, and I'll try and walk you through anything that we've missed here. So, all right, that's about it. Thank you.